long one. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Going to call the Mechanicsburg Borough Council meeting to order on February the 18th, 2014. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
President Whitcomb?
Here.
Vice President Whitcomb?
Here.
Councilman McDermott?
Present.
Miller?
Here.
Tillman?
Here.
Here.
Weber?
Here.
Mayor Ritter?
Here.
Solicitor Hunt? Here. Engineer Rogowski?
Here.
Chief Spots?
Here.
Chief Seekers?
Present.
Junior Councilperson Pathasis?
Here.
Secretary Downs?
Here. Or do we have any guests? No guests? Are there any additions to the agenda?
Yes. I think we have an addition for appointment to the Departmental Advisory Committee. Met this evening to recommend a candidate for vacancy.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Sorry, the name again, please.
Appointment of Mr. Edwin Miller to the vacancy on the EAC.
Oh, okay. But before we go any further, the executive session on 2 matters, are we going to, do we need that now?
One.
Okay, so we do need that.
One,
Okay.
just one.
Any other additions to the agenda?
Yeah, one thing, Pat, we discussed about setting up a date and representatives for the Joint Rec Commission meeting. And while we will have to get hold with the other people that are involved in that and see if the date corresponds with what is available with them.
The discussion on the date for Joint Recreation Committee meeting.
Are there any other additions?
Yeah, I think we're gonna consider tonight an engineer to take care of our sanitary sewer issues at the sewer plant. And the committee met last night and we're ready to make a recommendation.
Any other additions to the
I
agenda?
would add that we need this discussion on the date for the first town hall meeting. I think it should be on the agenda already.
Yeah, that is on.
Yep,
Yeah, we got
okay.
it. We got it.
It's already on the agenda.
That's not an addition.
Not an addition.
Okay, very good.
Just
Any other additions?
Just in case.
Before we go on any further with that, I would like to make the announcement that we're going to have an adjournment of an executive session on a matter of potential litigation and personnel with possible action. Possible action?
Yeah, we'll say
Okay.
possible.
Okay, we'll need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
A motion's been made.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Citizen comments and requests.
I'm Bill Walker from 170 Brendel Road, Mechanicsburg. I asked for and got a copy of the resolution revisiting residential rental housing unit pre-inspection checklist. I thought it was very well done. There shouldn't be anything that a landlord can complain about. So I wanted to tell Dennis he did his job.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Are there any other citizens' comments or requests? Seeing none? Correspondence.
The only piece of correspondence is we did update the borough's Facebook page today and website with United Water's ongoing water line issues. We did get about 225 residents who did see that on our Facebook page, so it's a little more active than it used to be, so that's good. So we're going to keep using that. It seems like posting those things is definitely generating some traffic to our Facebook page and website.
Yeah, along with the snow this morning, I woke up to no water, and I'm thinking, oh, this is not a good idea. All righty, we'll have anything else? We have a motion for approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of council on February the 4th, 2014. And the motion's been made?
Second.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Manager report.
I don't have anything at this time.
Thank you. Mayor report.
Thank you very much. January 21st, sworn into office fire police. The 23rd, Rudders on West Main Street held their open house celebration, gave them a key to Mechanicsburg from the mayor's office. The 8th, Friends of the Joseph T. Simpson Public Library held a book sale at Books by the Gross on Sherrill Avenue. They made $10,070.50 for the library. February 10th, Crime Watch, Jim Schmidt from Civil War and More gave us a talk on Civil War monuments in Gettysburg. They are plagued with vandalism and graffiti. February 11th, guest speaker at the West Shore Rotary Club. They're itching to see the humble miniature flea circus. February 14th, lunch with Admiral Ewan, Chief of Naval Supply Corps, at the Colony House. Civilian life in and around Mechanicsburg was discussed. The 16th, the Humble Flea Circus joined Scout Pack 190 annual Blue and Gold Banquet. 17th, guest speaker at the Grantham Women's Club. I know stuff about Mechanicsburg, now they know stuff. Trivia question for a Mechanicsburg calendar made and put out by the Mechanicsburg Museum Association. How many years has the Joseph T. Simpson Public Library served Mechanicsburg? Speak.
50 years?
No, you're
51.
You're close.
52.
You're close.
Since 1965.
60.
Too many.
I mean 1960.
53 years.
That's 1960.
You were pretty close. You were pretty close. See me after the meeting. End of report. Thank you.
Thank you. Solicitor?
I'll reserve comments for executive session.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I went over to the chief, didn't I?
It's all right.
Sorry about that,
It's your
Chief.
meeting, boss.
Sorry about that.
Just two things to let council know about. I received a commendation from a citizen for both Sergeant Curtis and Officer Schutz for their assistance in helping her get unstuck during one of the recent snowstorms. She was nice enough to send us a letter of the 3 grandkids she was on her way to pick up. So that was real nice. I also received the commendation for Sergeant Curtis for his work in the Mechanicsburg School District involving internet safety for children. That's it.
Thank you. All right. The engineer.
Mr. President, just two things to report. Number one, we continue to have active conversations with the developer of the Hess Farm. I believe that council will be seeing something probably here in the near future, maybe the next month or two, as they bring their first round of zoning revisions forward. It's scheduled to go to the Planning Commission tomorrow evening for their first crack at it. And second, the park project, there's snow outside. It's not been good construction by them, so I'll leave it at that.
That's good. Thank you. Fire Chief.
Just one or two quick items, Mr. President. One, I'd like to thank the public for getting out in those intersections and taking their hydrants out. I had the opportunity to go on Channel 21 on a news blurb and do a quick commentation there. And also we ran several medical calls with West Shore EMS, and that's all I have for right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Junior council person.
No report.
We have agenda items.
Discussion and possible action on Resolution 2, 2014, authorizing the use of PNC as a depository for Mechanicsburg Borough fire tax funds.
We have a motion. Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion?
Did you receive a proposal from anybody else, or is this?
For us, it was just the easiest thing to put the checks right where we could transfer money in and out. Because of the way that tax revenue rolls in, we wanted to make sure we had enough money in our sweep account. So by creating it at PNC, we have the ability to electronically transfer funds from the general fund over to the fire fund to cover any expenses that they had. If we didn't use PNC, we wouldn't have the ability to do that. We'd have to go get a manual check and then go to the bank and then do a manual check and go back and forth. So we are actively, PNC has changed some of the way they're going to handle our banking in the future, which may lead us to searching for another bank, but at this point, this was the most efficient way to handle it until we get it figured out totally.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action on Resolution 3, 2014, making changes to the residential rental checklist for residential rental inspections.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action to approve engaging approved code services for all UCC and building permit services effective February 18, 2014.
We have a motion? Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Discussion.
This is the most cost-effective vendor we can find that's also located in Mechanicsburg, so this should have the least amount of resistance.
According to the information I read, it was fairly, he handled it really well.
Yes.
They
We've used them
before.
before. Yeah, we've used them before in the past, and we have a good relationship, and they're located on Texaco Road, so they're close enough that if there's any issues, then we can fix them.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action to appoint Jeff Gardner, approved code service, as the building codes official for the borough effective February 18, 2014.
Motion been made? Seconded. Discussion?
Jeff will be sitting on the borough's Historic Architectural Review Board as the BCO for the borough has to sit on the HARB as well, so Jeff will be giving his time on doing that.
Is this permanent? Is this permanent position?
What's that?
This is the permanent position?
No, it's not a permanent position. This is a vendor that the BCO has to sit on the HARB as part of the requirements of the HARB ordinance. So he works for approved code services, but he's going to fill in for us until we can get somebody filled in and put on the board.
Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action to appoint Jeff Gardner as the building code official of the Historic Architectural Review Board effective February 18, 2014.
Motion been made.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Consideration and possible action to approve the internship program for the police department for 2014.
Have a motion? Motion been made.
Second.
Seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Consideration and possible action to approve an unpaid station-only internship for Tracy Huffer effective immediately.
Motion been made. Do we have a second? Second? Who seconded
I did.
that? Second? Discussion?
I'd just let council know she's, has agreed to move a lot of our paper files electronic, and we're waiting to try and get rid of some of our paper. So that's what she's going to
That's
do.
what I thought I read in the.
Yeah.
Okay. Motion made, second. Discussion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action to set the date and topic for the town hall meeting.
Do we have a possible date there?
Well, the committee would like to do it the week, mid to late April, to coincide with Community Government Week. Thought that would be appropriate. I don't know if you have your calendars with you. I know there's an awful lot of
Are
other
you
stuff
interested
going
in
on.
a particular day, or?
Well,
We have a council meeting on the 15th.
we have a council meeting on the 15th.
Right.
It's a special day.
That's, yeah, tax day. So.
Yeah, that's a special day, all right.
We may want to hold off till the following week.
Maybe a good idea.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to do it.
Will the 22nd work?
Is this room available the 22nd?
What day is the 22nd?
22nd is Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's also the
Fourth
same.
Tuesday of the month.
Same night as the
There's
school board.
there's nothing on the fourth Tuesday, so we should be good.
Wait a minute.
It's the same night as the school board meeting now. If
Well,
there's any confliction with that, but.
You want to do it a Wednesday? I mean, we don't have
We
to.
traditionally don't have anything on Wednesdays, so the fourth Tuesday and fourth Wednesday are open.
23rd then would be a good one.
That way you don't have to miss a school board meeting.
Correct.
All right. We have a suggestion for the 23rd of April as the first town hall meeting. Any other discussion on that? What about times?
I would think 7:30.
That agreeable with everybody? Come through?
That works.
Okay. I don't know if it takes any, that doesn't take a motion, does it?
No, but I would, I guess if a quorum of council will be present for the meeting, it would be prudent for us to advertise
Yeah,
that,
absolutely.
realizing that we can't, not deliberating it. It's
Right,
more
right,
informational, but still be compliant with the Sunshine Act. We
I
should
think it'd be good to have
advertise it.
a motion to advertise the first town hall meeting.
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
make the motion to advertise the first town hall meeting for April 23rd, 2013 at 7:30 p.m.
2014.
2014.
And I'll second.
And motion been made and seconded. Any other discussion?
Yeah, do you want to suggest the topics for them, or is that going to be in the?
Committee is reviewing the topics at present. It appears the first two topics will be the website and possibly the joint compost issues. We're looking at a second town hall meeting for probably October with discussion possibly of the consolidation of the fire companies and some of the borough codes so that the public can be aware of what they're allowed and not allowed to do and those types of things so that it alleviates a little bit of pressure in the office.
Okay.
So
So we have a date for the first set for April the 23rd at 7:30 p.m. Motion been made, seconded. So we'll vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Approval of capital, general highway, sewer, and capital sewer fund expenditures from January 1st, 2014 to January 31st, 2014.
I'll make a motion.
Motion been made,
Second.
seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action to appoint Edwin Miller to the vacancy on the Environmental Advisory Council.
So moved.
Motion been made,
Second.
seconded. Discussion?
Mr. Miller was at this evening's meeting, has a great deal of knowledge and experience. I think it would be a good fit for the board and is eager to start.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action to set a date for the Joint Recreation Committee meeting.
Originally thought on the way it's written up was supposed to be the second Thursday of the third month of the year. Now, I don't know if that's gonna give us enough time to get it into the other organization, if they will have time or not. I was looking at maybe possible April instead, back it up to April. That way we have time to communicate with the other municipalities and school districts to get this scheduled with them, so they have time to get on their schedules to get here. Also under that, we'll have to delegate a member of council to be in charge of that meeting, because this is our year to be in charge of the Joint Rec Commission. So that's the other part of the motion.
What's the other part of the motion?
I mean, that's part of the other thing, discussion on it, is the date and also the person, nominating the person to be in charge of the Joint Rec Commission.
So you need the date?
Date, I was looking at maybe possible April, I don't know.
Do we have the ability to set the date?
When is it?
that written in the agreement?
According to the section it is, yeah.
Okay.
According to the section.
So what day you looking at, Mark?
Probably the second Wednesday
That
of
would be April the 9th.
April 9th will be fine.
that would be pending that it works for everybody. Or-
That's what I'm leaning
or is-
for.
I think
or is-
what he's doing is trying to get it in there soon enough that we can have enough time that they can get it in there.
Yeah,
Scheduled.
yeah, yeah.
That was the purpose of going another day.
7 o'clock.
7?
7 o'clock.
7 p.m. on the 9th
Of April?
Yep.
of April. That would be the meeting of the Joint Recreation Commission.
I will reach out to Charmin Son Brown in the school district to make sure that works.
Okay.
And make sure it's advertised too?
Yeah.
If-
The Sunshine Act?
What happens if we have a problem with it not working with one or two of the other men?
then they'll have to make a suggestion back, and I'll bring it back to Mark as the chair, and then you guys can work within the date that's there. That's enough time, but we're in the middle of February. I would hope that they would have something, unless it's...
That's why I didn't move it to, because it literally says March, but I think it's too close right now to be it.
Yeah.
So if we back up to April.
They probably have more.
If I run into a roadblock, Mark, I'll shoot an email out, and we'll get something figured out.
We needed volunteers to be on that committee. Anybody want to volunteer before I volunteer somebody?
I'm gonna go there and do it.
Okay, you got it.
I'm only involved in the direct board anyway, so.
All right, you got it. So that motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action to appoint HRG as the borough sanitary sewer engineers.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made.
I'll second.
Second. Any discussion?
Just so everyone's aware, the Public Works and Safety Committee did meet in this very room last night. Myself, Councilman Winchell, Councilman Stoner, Ron Adams, the borough manager. We were given 3 very fine presentations from HRG, Glace, and Pannoni. After much deliberation, because it was a very tough decision to make, I feel, the committee is ready to recommend HRG to handle that. And there you go.
Okay.
And for it,
I haven't seen any of the proposals or anything. Why would we be going with one over another?
The presentations that were provided to the committee, and I don't want to speak for the committee too much, they felt that HRG provided a broad service base that the borough could use in terms of now that the plant's done and that almost done, and the pump stations are done. We're looking at more long-term range planning when it comes to our capital proceeds, when it comes to the sewer fund. So their background in not only grant funding and the acquisition of grant funding and looking for grant funding, juxtaposed with their success in long-range planning, capital improvement planning for sanitary sewer services, I think led the committee to make the selection that they did. Is that fair?
yes, absolutely.
Councilman Miller, would you like to see those proposals prior to us making a decision? Do we have to make that decision on that?
No.
I would prefer to see them.
Okay.
I would also say that Ron Adams, the superintendent of the sewer plant, he was very supportive of this appointment.
Okay, well, we have a councilman who'd like to see the proposals. I don't see anything wrong with that, but we won't interfere with anything if we don't do it until next meeting.
I mean, there's no rush. I can provide council with a hard copy of their proposal, and you can put it in the first meeting in March.
I think we assigned the committee to take care of that, and I think
Yeah.
we should follow their recommendation, but if somebody wants to see it, I don't see, everybody ought to have a look at it anyway, so.
Everybody should.
That should be good enough.
Okay, I'll put it in your packets this week.
Okay, who made that motion?
I made it.
You want to pull that back, motion to table?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, table the decision. Does somebody want to second the table? All in favor? Aye. There is no discussion on table motion, so. Okay, we'll take care of that next council meeting. Prior to that, everybody will get a copy of the proposal from the organization. All right, very good.
That's it.
That's it? Any citizens' comments? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Robin Iverson. I live at 423 West Simpson Street. I did want to congratulate the borough on this wonderful article, and Mayor Rowe's statements were particularly great because those were my neighbors you were talking about. There's a couple of things I do, and this is purely selfish. I wanted to be here tonight. I like to hear what you gentlemen and ladies have to say. I'd much rather be doing it in my living room with a cup of hot chocolate. So if you will continue, I appreciate Mr. Snyder being here. This is so important to our community. If you go online, I mean, all I put in on Google was Pennsylvania boroughs and townships broadcasting their meetings, and one right after another came up. And I can go and I can look at Middletown, Bristol, College, Aston, Upper Moreland, Whitestone. They're not really going to help me at all. I don't want to sit at home with my hot chocolate and watch their borough council meetings, but I would like to watch ours. So if you would consider I know there's obstacles, I can't even imagine what they all are, and I appreciate if you would continue to work on that in whatever way you can. And the last question I have is about the water thing this morning. From what I understand, we were alerted to the situation from the news.
I don't know that we were alerted by the news.
The people in our home, like the residents.
Okay, maybe by, in all honesty, I did not know about it till 6 o'clock in the morning when I went to turn my water on and it wouldn't come on. So I didn't know.
It didn't come on about an hour and a half before that.
They tell me it broke sometime between 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
The borough manager was in contact with the water company, and they called him at about 6:15, and by 7:30 they had found the
They
leak.
found where it was, and by 8 o'clock it was fixed.
So, I mean, they worked really fast on it.
Yeah, it was a major line that.
It was out in Brightwell,
but it was, they fixed it pretty quickly.
So there were no robocalls or anything?
United Water put out robocalls. We traditionally don't put out robocalls for private vendors, whether that's UGI or United Water.
So did they come out after 8 o'clock? I mean, we were in our home trying to figure out what the issue was.
I can't speak to when their robocalls went out. I spoke to their public affairs director at 6:30 this morning, who said that he was putting one out. I think what they did is their technology, they have the capabilities to send the robocalls to certain blocks, which it was affected. So I think they robocalled the blocks that were affected by that. That may not have reached you, but I think that's what they did. So when I got the information from Bob, his name's Bob Ambeck. When I got the information from Bob, we put it on the borough's Facebook page, and then the link to United Water to see the affected areas. But United Water did do a robocall, but I'm not sure specifically how many people it hit.
Okay.
I can tell you it did hit Green Street.
No.
Or ours.
I do.
No, again.
And it wouldn't hit you unless you had a hump on.
I'm in no way attempting to pass the buck in any way, shape, or form. That's their responsibility, and if they didn't do that, I can tell you, and Linda will tell you that too from the ladies in the office, we were inundated with phone calls about it this afternoon.
There was when you're used to opening, turning the TV on your laptop, and they didn't have a message on their own line, just to say, this is not, your pipes are not frozen, or.
Yeah.
They told you how to check for that, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of elderly neighbors I stay in contact with that are literally ensconced in their house.
What I would suggest, and I had this conversation 3 or 4 times today, United Water is one of these private companies, and PP&L is the same way, that really is making the assumption anymore that every single person has a computer. So a lot of it, and they, in their mind, yeah, but if they don't, we'll try to keep things posted, which we did. But I'm just telling you from my experience with them, they'll send a press release to WGAL or whatever. They'll do a robocall. If you're not, and you don't see it on the news, they do things a lot like electronically. I mean, some even their bills, we get all their meters electronically. They assume that everybody has a computer. So in the future, if I get anything, I'll make sure we put it up as a backup for them. But they do a lot of stuff electronically.
So do you think we should address the water company for this? Because there was nothing on it.
No, the United Water, and the individual's name, and he's going to yell at me for saying this, the individual's name is Bob Manbeck. And he's a wonderful human being. He's very nice to talk to. But he's the one that I deal with directly. That I will tell you too, their phones went down for half an hour with how much phone traffic they had this morning with people calling them. So there was a lot of people with a lot of questions, and I think they were candidly a little bit blindsided by it. So we'll in the future keep putting ourselves up as a backup, but Bob Manbeck, that's the direct guy that if you want to talk to somebody, he's their public affairs director.
There did seem to be an incredible breakdown in communication. I know when I emailed you this morning on after 9 to ask you if the boil water
That's correct.
was there.
And I said no, and then by noon they sent us one back where it was.
Yeah, that's a real concern. I mean,
Yeah.
Now, I think, before I came here tonight at 6:30, I know it's getting a lot of calls.
When I talked to Bob at 7:30, when they said it was fixed, there was no boil water advisory, and then I got an email at 12:20, which I forwarded to you, Borough Council, that you could see the boil water advisory where we copy and pasted that, changed the tenses, and then put it on the Facebook page. So they definitely had some breakdowns in communication with this one, unequivocally.
Well, and then the other thing was there was a 2-hour school delay, and we didn't know, we assumed with the boiled water that it might go to the school district. So nobody, and again, like you said, there was a big communication breakdown, but just so that you're aware of that.
No, I appreciate that. In fact, when Bob told me, when I talked to him this morning, he said that they had contacted the schools. That was in an email that they sent privately to their group, which I forwarded to the elected officials. And then, like I said, copy and pasted it and changed the text to put it on the Facebook page and the website. But John makes an excellent point. There definitely was a breakdown in United Water's communication game as to what was going on, what was happening. I think actually the oil water advisory hit about 200 people total. I think
probably out in that south.
That's the
northeast.
that side. Yeah. So,
Right.
yeah. But we'll keep putting that up as a backup for you guys just in case.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, over at Green Acres.
Why was it over there?
Oh, no. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, Pat. I don't know if you can answer this question, but how do they narrow down an area as to who boils water when everybody was out of water?
You know, Scott, I candidly don't know. I know they have some pretty sophisticated equipment that Greg knows.
Oh, there you go.
It has to do with the disinfection residual that's in the water, so the reason, like that area is at the very end of their system, so by the time they fix the main, everything's flushed out, you know what I mean, that's part of the problem.
Okay.
That is not 8%.
When you don't know, that's the
Broad
answer.
Street was a oil water advisory, but Simpson Street just, you know, 520.
All the bad stuff was passed you by that time. Put it out the end. Alrighty, anything else? Any other citizen comments? Do we have any other business?
I met with Barry Heckard this morning about the printing of per capita tax bills. The vendor has them ready to go and they should be in the mail next week.
We're going to monitor the expense of this per capita process. This year, the county was generous enough to maintain the database. That's going to be transitioned over to Barry. What some communities have done, and we may look at that next budget year, is the state has allowed you to increase your local services tax to offset the transitions in per capita. So you can go from $52 to $75 now on local services tax. Some communities have cut their per capita taxes, and then because the burden shifts from the municipality to collect per capita to CTCC, Cumberland County Tax Collection Agency, to collect it. So Hampton Township's done that, some communities have done that. Our per capita, we're going to see how much, we'd obviously, if it's going to cost half of our revenue to print them, we're going to make a different suggestion, but we have to see how much we collect. But it's not a huge revenue source for the borough, it's about 20 grand.
Okay. Just let everybody know, this Thursday, February 20th, at the Naval Support Activities Base, there'll be a hostile action exercise, and they will be announcing things over loudspeakers, so some people close to the base may think that there's real bad guys there. It's not real bad guys, they're doing an exercise.
Everybody lives down the east end of town. Yeah.
Well, we'll use tomorrow I'll put something out on our alert system for the borough residents, so they're there, so we'll put that out.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that we'll get some calls.
Yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
Mayor? No, thank you.
Nothing else?
Gary?
Speaking of getting calls, and I hate to really bring this up, but I'm actually surprised it wasn't brought up yet. The plowing during the ice event was terrible. You guys did really, really great with the last snow, but I mean, we took a ton, or I personally took a ton of calls.
Yeah,
emails.
I did too. I'm about 20 pages into a booklet worth of complaints. I can tell you, it would be my suggestion at this point that the borough call a personnel committee meeting to discuss some of the things and decisions that were made. Obviously, in my capacity as the manager of the community, not only am I broad in stature, but it's my fault when there's issues that are like that. And there was a plan, there was discussions had, and that plan was executed, and it did not yield positive results. So I think there were some things that took place during that ice event. We had 2 trucks go down. We really felt the loss of the 2 members of the collective bargaining agreement who have since retired. I will tell you, the last snow event, I pulled 2 employees at my own discretion away from the sewer plant and the shoveling to drive a loader and a pickup truck, and we had a much more successful call. The ice was a problem, but I think it's a personnel issue that I think we need to discuss in either a personnel committee or an executive session.
Just one of my observations, it appeared as if there was a very, very short window, but a very short window of time that if we would have had the equipment out just prior to that real hard freeze where we had several days where it just, I mean, it was hard as a rock, and we could have had a lot of those problems off just by being more proactive.
I think what we need to figure out is how much time was spent in the first storm before that.
The issue that happened, and Rod's exactly right, and I think that's why we need to get into this from a personnel perspective. The decision that was made to put the alleys off because of the manpower and trucks down to the following day, they responded to some flooding issues that we had on Main Street as a result of the snow and some of the inlets being blocked. When we had that freeze and then the freezing started, they couldn't catch up with it. They had already worked over their CDL hours, and they can't, unless we would have declared an emergency because of the ice, they can't run over their CDL hours. That being said, one of the main complaints, and I'm going to piggyback on your complaints, the two biggest issues that we got in the office were alleys, ice on the alleys, and the ADA curb ramps, people shoveling to the edge of them, and then the plow trucks coming and then sticking there. The borough is responsible for all public areas, which the sewer department does go out and shovel, but unfortunately, what we all saw in this process was, we removed the snow off of Main Street, but Factory Street, Locust Street, streets like that, without a dedicated snow emergency route enacted by ordinance that really can allow us to have some teeth to move cars off the road, we're going to have these problems. And I think that's what I say to the residents that complained the loudest about it, who lived on Factory, Portland, the other places, is that, when a community such as Stewartstown Borough puts out a snow emergency, there's specific lanes and specific streets that people have to move their cars, if not, they're cited. The borough snow emergency route, when we say snow emergency, it just lets them work more than 12 consecutive hours. So, and the police department did an excellent job of posting Main Street for Saturday when they came in and worked, and I think that was successful. But there's some internal policy decisions that I think we collectively have to change in order for this not to happen again.
For all intents and purposes, I know you have to have that sign, don't you? No emergency.
Well, I'll defer to the solicitor on that one. For the most part, I think well, never mind. Solicitor can answer that question.
I mean, if it's posted, it's an emergency, that's one aspect of that, but where Chief was going, if it is posted, if we have an ordinance, we can, it's a matter of enforcement too. Working closely with the police as far as what we want to do to enforce that. Versus notice is what I think the most important thing is to the community. Hey, if we're pulling the trigger saying it's a snow emergency, what areas are affected, and then what do we do if someone is in violation of that?
That's right, and to piggyback on that, the signage aspect of it is declaring those snow emergency routes. We'd obviously do it by ordinance, but then we'd have to put up signs everywhere. So that would that means that the police wouldn't have to go out and put them up with 24 hours notice. The mayor faxes that into and we declare a snow emergency. Those cars have X many hours to get off the street.
I can speak from experience back in 93, 94 that we had so much snow in this town that it was unbelievable. And we actually had cooperation from several parking lot areas, churches, and down on Green Street where we plowed their parking lots, and all the people on the one-way streets like Factory Street, Green Street, and narrow streets were allowed to park there until we got their street limit. And that was, I think that was the year that snowed every Wednesday, at least 2 feet. It was a big snow. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I think that's something that we can entertain during the spring and in preparations for next winter. That there are.
I think we need to look at something like that, and I think we can do that.
I would agree with Councilman Mitchell. I thought the snowing, the plowing was we were ill prepared, and either the plan we had failed, or we had personnel issues that superseded the planning. And I really think we need to have an executive session on it, or
we'll have a personnel committee. We'll have a personnel committee.
With some kind of I've talked privately with the individuals who have plowed and we're doing the plowing, and
it's not just me.
It's a cliche term, but we had a perfect storm, so to speak, in terms of the way the ice came, and on top of that, we're holding pad to negotiating with the union that right now it snowed, and you know, talk about a leverage situation, you know what I mean? And so we're sitting here trying to come up with an equitable contract with the taxpayers of the borough, but unfortunately that means that we haven't replaced, we're down technically 3 people in 2 departments. So, you know, we're trying, but your point's well noted, and it has been articulated to the appropriate department heads that that particular storm in itself was not handled in a
And I know there's also a
satisfactory
lot of concern about the water now, from Milton's now. So.
Yeah.
Do we have, well, we're talking about that, do we have people going out around cleaning out the storm sewer?
They tried to do the inlets as much as they could, but I mean, I think that what people need to be aware of, and we will get the staffing levels back up, but you know, we have 2.4 square miles, and we have 9,000 people, and we have right now currently have 4 guys in the highway department. So you think about how many roads, how many alleys, how many streets, you know, even 6. You know, communities our size, you see up to 8, 10 people in those departments. We traditionally have been a little lower than that, but I think again, there's no excuses to be had. It was not done well. And so it's up to us now to make sure that we put the process in place so we don't set our employees up to fail.
There is also a physical issue that I think is being overlooked with regard to the alleys. Since we contracted out for the garbage collection, those garbage trucks are way, way bigger than what our alleys can take. And so what you have, even on a dry day, is a natural gully that's been created by those. So when the snow plow goes through, unfortunately, they didn't put the snow plow down and get scrape off the top. I don't know why, but it makes the problem worse, because now you have gullies on each side. That's the calls I've been getting from neighbors and.
Well, it's a fair assessment.
And I don't know what we do about that.
Maybe the alleys full of stone.
I know by our alleys, like, when I look at the Sled Center in Sochi, sometimes I'm saying, that's a lot smoother than what ours is.
Yeah. The downside again, and where we were talking as a department, as a staff, was that, you know, this storm, when you had the alleys not get done in a satisfactory manner, then the garbage trucks couldn't go off them. And when garbage trucks couldn't get off them, then the garbage service is impacted. So again, when I say perfect storm, one decision blends into another decision, blends into another decision. So, you know, from us, and I know you can speak to that too, because I would be on the phone with somebody, and she would be on hold with somebody waiting to talk to me. There were so many phone calls that we were getting after that ice storm. You know, perfect storm was a good analysis for it. Once that ice hit and the garbage canceled, then they couldn't get back in, then it snowed, and the baseline root of that was that ice storm that Wednesday after that. That was the absolute crippling aspect of that. Now we have to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Okay, do we have anything else?
No, I don't have anything else.
You done?
I don't have anything.
Nothing.
I don't think you can answer.
I was just going to, like Ms. Agerton, point people
I'll let her.
I was just going to point people to the Harrisburg Magazine issue.
Go ahead. More? Is you done, Cobb?
Yes. No, I was waiting. I got a couple things. We have a fire consolidation meeting next week here, next Thursday at 7 o'clock. And I screwed up on, I told Leslie something on the phone, and I screwed up. She put down, I told her to put down the 13th. The next rec board meeting is supposed to be the 11th. That was my mistake on that, the wrong calendar.
All right.
And Warships will be celebrating 156th anniversary this Saturday with their annual banquet. That's all I have.
Thank you. Closer.
Nothing, thank you.
Nick got accepted to his first college, so you should brag.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, there you
go. And where might that be?
Duquesne,
Oh,
Pittsburgh.
whoa. All right. Very good. Okay, normally we won't do this all the time, but go ahead.
I was a roofing contractor in town for 35 years. There's snow on flat roofs. There's a rain called for Friday. If the borough has a way to alert people, get that snow off. Buildings are made to hold 34 pounds per square foot. The rain is going to greatly increase that.
Is that the flat roofs?
Flat roofs. I made a ton of money in 94, 96.
Okay. Is that it, Bill?
That's it.
Thank you. Robin?
I've been putting on the one Facebook thing about digging out fire hydrants, begging residents to dig out their fire hydrants. And when you have your meeting in the spring, there's actually an app that tells people, and it's a program called Adopt a Fire Hydrant. So people, you can put this on the computer and people can sign up and say, this is where I live, this is where the fire hydrant is, and I'll be responsible for that fire hydrant. So that might be something you want to look at for the next thing. And the other thing is, on the Facebook page, as with the fire hydrants, you may want to start explaining to people that they have to go out and open up these drains. If they have a drain on their property between now and...
If they live on the corner property and have a storm drain, they should be able
beg
to
them,
get, yeah.
or and tell them, if it's not on your property, but it's on your block.
The only problem with that is in certain areas, the borough snow plows put piles this high over them and
Right.
they're frozen solid. And one of them
Well,
takes
once
in
it
front of
warms,
my
maybe you
mother's
need to
house.
put that in the Facebook post, Gary. We
Yeah.
know it's frozen solid now. You're gonna have a couple days of warm weather. We're begging you, go out there and clean it
But
up.
let's hope that we don't get too much rain that causes the backflow on that. So,
Pardon?
It's only gonna freeze again next weekend.
Right. Patrick, I think those are all great suggestions. I think all that information ought to be on the website.
We can
and
definitely-
Facebook.
we
If
can
you
definitely do
That would be a huge assistance.
alrighty. We are going to adjourn to an executive session on a matter of personnel potential litigation.